Welcome to Pike Central High School. Tonight the Jasper Wildcats are on the road at Pike County against the Pike Central Chargers. The Wildcats are 15-5 on the season against Pike Central 1-16. Hello everybody, I'm Craig Schneider along with Jason Stamm and Jeremy Marcos on the video. And Jason kind of just recapping the Wildcat clinching of the Big 8 Conference with a 39-36 win over Princeton. Wasn't a pretty basketball game as we kind of called that night, but you know, when you look at two teams that are held to 39 and 36 points, you could either look at it two ways. Was it a defensive battle or two teams struggling with their shooting, because the Wildcats shot just 38% from the field and Princeton 30%. So what's your assessment?
I'll answer that question for you, Craig. It was a lack of shooting ability that night.
Right.
You know, we're not going to beat around the bush and say it was great defense that night, but
love your honesty, man.
You know, it was just an ugly night.
Yeah.
Neither team shot the ball exceptionally well. You know, and there's nights you got to struggle through those type of things, you know,
right.
and that's exactly what we did. You know, and it's like we said, when the clock read 0, you wanted to have one more point than they did, and that's all that mattered. Just
right.
get out of there. You know, and you don't necessarily say that as a coach very often, but what we had riding on that game being the Big 8 Conference potential, yep. You know, in that night and in that instance, that's really all you want.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think the Wildcats went into that just wanting to come out with a win, and that's what happened in that ball game. So, you know, the Wildcats, as we mentioned, 15-5 on the season, taking on Pike Central, who's really had a struggle this year. They only average about 33 points a game, and their lone win was against Eastern Green, 56-40, back on January 9th. But I'm just looking through the schedule here, and that's the only game this year that they've scored in the 50s. So it's a team that I think is struggling a little bit, obviously, right now. Yeah,
there's no doubt, Craig. You know, they don't average. You know, I don't know what they average point-wise a game, but they don't average a lot of points. They give up a lot, or you know, fairly good amount.
Right.
You know, but this is one of those coaches call them trap games. You know, where you know it's senior night. They've got nothing to lose.
Right.
They're going to let it all out there on the floor tonight. You know, so I'm sure Coach Gable's got these guys prepared to say, hey, you know, we've got to come out. We've got to take care of ourselves. We've got to execute the things we need to do to come out of here with a win.
And that's the thing. I mean, the Wildcats are actually starting all seniors tonight. So you see out there on the floor, as far as their setup, it includes, you know, Stamm, Cabrick, Hope, and Harmon, but also getting the start tonight is Reese Day. And they'll be up against Ethan Scott, number 1. Sean Hanselman is 13. Jalen Mills is 14. Gabe Caldwell, 32. And Colin Craig, 40. And Pike actually starts things off with the tip there.
Yeah, they did. Jasper's in their typical man-to-man where, you know, we'll get after them. Well, as I say that, they throw the ball to the wing and they run that little trap, corner trap. So we'll see how, you know, they want to play it.
All right, so the Wildcats into their offense here against them. Looks like a 2-3 zone.
2-3 zone,
yep.
Yeah. So we just got to be patient, move the ball. You know, this is a good game to work on some things, you know. That's not a bad shot. You know, he's open. But it's a good game to, you know, because it's no secret, you know, how we play, shoot against a zone defense. So,
right.
You know, it could be a good game, good test for us.
Well, the thing is, the Wildcats have struggled a little bit with their three-point shot this year, and so, you know, it might be an opportunity to knock a few down tonight. So there's a pull-up jumper and popped right there by Ethan Scott for the first 2 points of the ball game.
And again, you know, it's like we talked all year. I don't know where he was throwing that, but the best way to combat a zone defense is to get the ball down the floor. Don't let them get the opportunity to set that up. So if they're going to stay in this zone, I look for us to possibly see us push the ball down the floor.
As we mentioned, Day getting a start. Actually, he's done a fairly decent job shooting from the perimeter this year. Didn't get a lot of shots per ball game, but they actually do a nice job feeding down on the post and getting Quentin Harmon the first 2 points for the Wildcats.
Jasper's going to run a little full court press here. 1-2-2 type thing, I think it looks like. So, and I think it's you know, again, like we said, it's a game where it's going to give Jasper the opportunity. There's a long 3 attempt in and out, but you know, it's going to give them it's going to give Jasper the opportunity to work on a few things maybe that they need to work on against live competition other than guys in practice.
Right. All right, so Cabrick pulls up with the jumper there, misses. And Pike Central not able to control the rebound, so Jasper will have the basketball. So 2-2's our score, 5:39 to go here, just underway. Pike Central High School, and the Wildcats have concluded their home basketball this year. So with 3 straight games on the road, this is the second one, and Harmon hitting a three-pointer there to give the Wildcats a 5-2 lead.
Did a pretty good job there of pressing. They beat it, but we did a good job of getting back to not allow an easy bucket.
All right, so Ethan Scott will inbound. He is actually the leading scorer on this basketball team at 10.2 points per ball game. So for a team that averages about 33 points a game.
He's not scared to throw it up there because that's 2 long 3 attempts he's taken.
Right. So Day with a nice drive there and puts it up and in. So 2 points for him, and the Wildcats now with a 7-2 lead about 3 minutes into the ball game. And Pike Central, their tallest player is out there, number 40. And that's Colin Craig, who's 6'3". There's Cabrick with a steal and an easy drive to the basket, up and in. So defense leads to 2 for the Wildcats, 9-2. Left the man wide open over there, so he's got an easy break to the basket. So putting that up and in is Jalen Mills for 2 points.
I'm willing to bet somebody was out of position on
the
press there because
he was
when you press, somebody shouldn't be that wide open.
Right. Cabrick with a kiss off the glass for his 4th point of the ball game. So 11-4, Jasper up, 4:21 to go here, first quarter action. And Hope almost with a steal there. Now Mills gets it down to Craig. That's Hanselman's number 13. Trying to split the defenders there is Scott, but he actually draws the contact, and it looks like you mentioned earlier that the coaching staff was talking about going 5 in, 5 out. Looks like that's what we're going to be looking at right now.
Yeah, Carter came home from practice this week and said that that's kind of the way Coach was going to play it. He was going to play it with the 5 seniors to let them get the chance to play together some, and then he was going to bring in the other next 5, which will basically be the 5 that play next year.
Right.
Obviously, there'll be some JV players mixed in there, but
sure,
you know, these are the guys that you're going to be looking at for next year.
So that includes Goodhue, Heim picking up the ball there. Now it's over to Isaac Day picking up Hanselman.
Wallace, Berger. So you've got one basic starter in there, and Berger started all year. So,
right.
And Goodhue, you know, obviously he's no secret. He's played exceptionally well for us this year.
Yeah, he was actually Goodhue, 6 points the other night against Princeton in that win. 2 for 2 from the field and 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
Gorby, I think, was the one who hit that 3.
So Day will drive there, come up
take,
short on the
you gotta
shot.
Finish it. Did a good job of getting there.
So 11-7 our score, 3:06 here in the first quarter. Day looking to get around Scott, but I think Scott picked him up there, and he'll draw the foul. So first personal foul for him, first team foul. Jasper with just 1. You know, and that's the thing when you think about next season, this team's going to have to probably come up with a couple guys that can score too.
Yeah, they are. There's a nice shot by Day. You know, I mean, he's come in and proved that he can shoot the ball fairly well, handles it well. You know, to go back to your point that you said, Craig, you know, coming into this year it was kind of the same thing because it was like, you were looking around thinking, okay, well, who's going to score out of this other than Cabrick? You knew Cabrick was going to be a scorer.
Yeah.
And Harmon was probably going to score some. But after that, you were kind of like searching, and different games, different guys have stepped up. So it's, and that's the way it'll be next year too. There'll be a couple surprises, that can come in there and shoot the ball and we're just the defensive end. We're going to have to, I think this year that's a big key for us. Is that we really seem to like hardworking, get after it on defense.
Right.
So obviously next year that's going to be a little bit tough to pick that up. Referees are pretty well letting them play.
Yeah, so far, like I said, just one foul on both teams, and actually Day knocks down the.
That was probably a good no call.
Right.
Because it would have been, who do you call it against?
Right. Well, you talked about Day, 2 3-pointers for him, one from each corner, so 6 points to lead the Wildcats right now. And
as a sophomore, he's not hesitant to come in there and pull the trigger, and that's, you got to be able to do that.
Oh, I agree. Again, you're playing the game of basketball. Who cares how old you are once you're on the floor?
That's exactly right. It doesn't matter. You don't get any more points or less points for the class you're in.
No.
Or the grade. So, and the thing I like about him so far is, in the playing time that he's had up till tonight, he doesn't seem to force shots.
No.
He'll shoot it if he's open.
Right. And Berger's getting a couple good looks. He hits the second one there. He missed his first one, so a good shot there for Caleb. So the Wildcats hitting that 3-pointer right now.
We're in trouble on the press. Yeah.
Yeah, we've left that side open at least 3 times on that press. So that's probably something Coach Gable will need to talk about with his team during the break here. 35 seconds to go.
Wally needs to catch that ball and square up to the basket and then look opposite. He's trying to look opposite with his back to the opposite. Yeah. Now, there's not a good pass by Isaac. We're just sitting here talking about him playing well, and then he makes a bad pass.
Right.
But, and the thing you forget sometimes is he is a sophomore. Mm-hmm. And I don't, a lot of guys that have been around the game will tell you, there's a big difference between playing JV ball and varsity ball, and the speed of it is the biggest thing. It's just a lot more speed in the varsity part of it.
All right, so Himes' 3-pointer does not go at the buzzer, but Jasper has put 20 points on the board to start this basketball game, leading 20-9 here on 18 WJTS. All right, so the Wildcats will have the basketball to start the second quarter with a 20-9 lead, and we were talking about against a zone defense, but Pike has actually switched over to a man-to-man, but the Wildcats doing a nice job from the perimeter in that first quarter.
They did. They were patient. They got a couple good wide-open looks, and were able to knock them down. We were 4 for 8 from the 3-point line in the first quarter there. So we did a good job with that. Now Pike's in a man. We just got to be patient again and run our offense, do the things that we need to do to get a good look and a good shot.
Hope came up short on that shot, but again, with a good post up to get that jump hook going, but Harmon not able to hit the 3. Day's going to battle for the rebound, but Pike's going to come away with it. So coming up is Gordon gives it up to number 13, Hanselman.
Jasper's back with their 5 original starters to start the second quarter. So
a little zone going on right now for the Wildcats, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that running trap. I don't know what the name they call that.
Yeah.
It starts like a 1-2-2 zone, and then they trap down there once the ball goes below the free throw line.
That's interesting. You can tell a team in a zone because every defender's got their hands wide.
Yeah.
All right, so they're trying to trap over there, getting on top of number 3, Guth. Feeds inside. Craig makes a move, kicks it back out. Now 3-pointer on the way. Does not go, and a battle for the rebound. Good job for Hope to pull that down between 2 defenders. Feed inside to Harmon. Little jump shot, puts it up, and draws the contact.
We did a good job of running transition there under control. Got a layup out of it. Got the opportunity to convert the old-fashioned 3-point play.
And Harmon, nice free throw there. So he's got 8 points to lead the Wildcats now. So the Cats break out of the press there to get set up defensively in the half court.
They're running a 1-2-2 press back to a 1-2-2 half court trap, basically.
Cross court pass. A little bit of trouble over there is Guth. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. Pike Central will hang on. 23-9 with 5:58 to go here, second quarter. Cats cruising right along with a 14-point lead. Again, the bench doing an outstanding job in that first quarter, scoring 11 points for the Wildcats. 3 3-pointers out of that. There's a battle right there for the ball, and that's going to be Day and Hanselman battling for it, and Pike will keep. Still missed the jump ball.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know why they ever. I think it was kind of the lack of the referee's ability to throw it up, I think.
It might have been, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was just part of the game. I think that kind of started in the NBA, I think, where they kind of did away with it.
Yeah, but then the NBA brought it back.
And then the NBA brought it back.
Yeah.
High school didn't, so.
All right, so there's a jump shot. Does not go for number 30, Howald. Peyton Howald is how he pronounces that. And that's shot up there by Harmon. Harmon, again, really with the length advantage tonight at 6'5", 6'6" against their tallest player right there. He was defended against number 11, who only stands at about 6 foot tall, that being Ethan Gorby. Gorby picks up his second foul, and Harmon hits the free throw.
That Peyton Howell that you were talking about, he's a freshman, 6'1" freshman. So, again, youngster out there, but
quality minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean, against a half court or a full court press and a half court trap, he's gonna, that's gonna do nothing but help him get better.
No question.
And I guarantee he struggles this year, like any freshman would, but down the road it's going to be beneficial and pay off for him.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, 6'1", so sure he's got some more growth coming to him, both physically and his basketball skills. And that's the thing when you have a season where you're struggling, obviously, as Pike has all season, but you just want to get those young players in as much as you can, don't you?
Yeah, you don't want to give up on your seniors and your upperclassmen, but you also want to give the other the young guys the opportunity to get better.
Right. Cabrick with the basketball, a little one-on-one action there. Feeds it cross court over to Stom. Beautiful shot fake, but he was actually grabbed there, so it's about the only thing that Ethan Gorby could do because Stom had an easy path to the basket there. So 25-9, Jasper up by 16 with 4:32 to go here in the second quarter.
Gorby just picked up his third foul, so he had to take a seat on the bench.
Yep. Try a lob into Hope. Good thing the defender wasn't looking. A little bit short.
Hope wasn't really looking either, so
I think you expect
it kind of caught everybody by surprise, I think.
Yeah, we actually have our spot up here right behind the Jasper goal right now, so we got a really good angle on that lob pass. Nice strong drive, but a good job here by Harmon to deflect it. Shot over the rim there for the young freshman, Howald. And Jasper will have the basketball. So 25-9, 4:04 to go here. Jasper still leading. Pike Central, they are actually coached by Hunter Elliott, who's in his third year here at the school, 15-49. Against John Gable, 178 and 118 in his 13th year here at Jasper High School. Of course, we'll find out who our sectional opponent is this Sunday, right?
Sunday at 3 o'clock, I believe the draw is.
Of course, the Wildcats are defending sectional champions for sectional 16 down at Evansville North. All right, so we got a whistle here, and that's going to be a foul on Stom, I believe.
I don't know how he got the foul because he had the ball, but the referee must have saw something different.
Right. So it's just a second foul whistled on the Wildcats, just 4 on Pike Central. So the Wildcats go 5 in, 5 out again here. So
Ernie's in this time instead of Wallace,
right.
I believe. So.
Okay. Good job by Berger, and he feeds it over to Ernie for a nice, easy bucket. So good teamwork there on the full court press, and the second unit's doing a great job tonight.
Yeah, they are. They're you know, they're getting in there, they're getting after it, and playing well.
All right, so there's a whistle and actually a travel call on Hanselman there. So well, the actual officials are talking here, so I guess we got a timeout.
Timeout by
okay.
somebody. I don't know who called it. I think Pike did.
All right, so we'll take a break here. Jasper leading 27-9 with 3:10 to go here in the first half against Pike Central here on 18 WJTS. So Heim's going to inbound to Ernie over there, and he'll walk it up against Ethan Scott.
He's played almost 5 minutes, and Pike hasn't scored, I don't believe.
In the second quarter, you're right. Berger hit a three-pointer earlier, looks down low into Heim, I'm sorry. Now Day has it, dribbles out.
You know, and as a coach here, you know, games like this, you know, you don't tell your team not to look to score, but you tell them, you know, we need ball reversal, you know, and when we get to that point, you know, we're looking for layups or you know, just keep running your offense. So.
Ethan Scott with a great steal and good quickness to the other end to get that bucket. And now Pike Central comes down to the rebound. And
there's good hustle by Jace again. You can always count on that, you know, and that's the thing. As a coach, you know, you look at it and you don't have to have the most talented player. You don't have to have the most talent on the team. But there's no reason that you can't put forth that effort every night.
Oh, every night. You're right.
And you know, and that's what, you know, as coaches, you like to see guys come in there and do that, because there is no off night on hustle.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you might have a night when you can't shoot, you can't hit the side of the barn like we did at Princeton the other night, but that doesn't happen on the hustle end of it, you know.
They showed it right there with that full court press. Pike Central had a really tough time just getting across the timeline, eventually throws it away, so chalk that up to pretty good hustle there.
Yeah, and you know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, you just have to bust it when you're out there. You know, play hard, and you know, most coaches will reward kids for playing like that.
Right. Good feed down to Goodhue, and he makes a beautiful move, but nice draws a contact. Yeah. So Goodhue continuing his good play that we've seen, especially over the last four or five basketball games. So minute 33, 29-11 right now is our score. The Wildcats up by 18. So Jace looking for his first points of the ball game. Sinks that one. So Jasper 4 for 4 from the line here.
And this, you know, moving forward to next year, Jace has got to be able to hit these free throws like this, because, you know, he's going to be inside and he's going to be playing against bigger guys all the time, and you know, he's going to pick up some fouls and things like that. He's going to have to be able to go to the free throw line and hit his shots.
And that's the thing, when you're 6'2", a lot of times you will be outsized when you're playing in the post like that, but you got to have quick moves like he showed the last time, and like you said, you got to hit those free throws too. So he's doing a good job with that. So Cats with nice defense over there in the corner, and now Pike's able to work out of it. So a little jump stop there by Howell, but they're going to call him for a travel.
You can't take 2 steps and then jump stop.
Yeah. We've learned in some games this year you can't do a jump stop.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly true. William Schmidt's coming in for Isaac Day, so that puts everybody on the bench has at least been in the game now. So and that's good.
Cats are up by 20, 31-11, 56 seconds to go here in the half. So Ernie dribbles out. Berger with a little move out to the wing.
And, you know, if nothing else, you know, games like this, doing what coach is doing with this, you know, different coaches have different philosophies on this. You know, some are like, hey, it's tournament time. You know, I need my guys out there. I need my 7 to 8 best players out there playing the whole game.
Right.
You know, other coaches look at it like, hey, this is an off game for my top 6 or 7 to where they can rest a little bit. They can get their legs back under them.
Sure.
I mean, we've played a lot of games here in the last, 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I don't care. I know they're 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, but that still takes a toll on you.
Sure.
When you're not only doing that, you're going to school, you're practicing. There's just a lot of things you're doing.
Well, and you're just coming off what I call a pretty emotional game Tuesday night.
No doubt.
With everything that was on the line. Again, neither team shot well, but I mean, both teams played really hard in that basketball.
Oh, they
game.
did. They did. And we don't fault that. I mean,
right.
It was a hard-fought game all the way around.
All right, so Himes going to step to the line, and I'll tell you one thing I really like about Isaac Himes' game is that he's always looking to shoot, which is, I think, a good thing. He's proven tonight or this season at times that he can knock down the jumper, put the ball in the hole. So, again, he might be somebody that can emerge as a pretty decent scorer for the Wildcats next year.
I could see him next year being a 6 to 10 point game scorer. And it takes a bunch of those guys at that level.
Right. All right, so last second heave there does not go for the Chargers. And the Wildcats lead this basketball game. Is that 32?
32 to 11.
Scoreboard there, 32-11. All right, well, again, a lot of bodies were able to get on the floor for the Wildcats. And so what are your thoughts on how things went there?
Yeah, I think Coach Gable did, what he intended to do, what he set out to do. He wanted to get some guys some playing time. He wanted to let the seniors have the opportunity to play together. And that's a big thing. That's kind of the way Coach Gable is. He's a very, very level-headed guy.
Sure.
And he looks out for doing what's best for the kids or trying to give them the best opportunity. And and that's what he's doing tonight by letting those seniors have that opportunity. This is probably the last game that they're going to have this chance to be able to play as a unit, as 5 guys. And, and the thing I like, obviously, I mean, my son's one of those 5.
Right.
And I coached these 5, for numerous years.
Sure.
Travel ball, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. I helped all the way up through there. So, it's kind of gratifying to sit here and watch those guys, all 5 of them out there at the same time to see what they can do.
Right. Well, and everything, too, is that a lot of the guys that are on the bench don't play JV, so this is their opportunity to play.
That's exactly right.
I think, maybe Wallace and Schmidt play a little bit, but for the most part, this is our varsity basketball team, and the guys that are getting an opportunity to play tonight have earned it.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's, like we said, it's a good thing. It kind of gives you an insight into the future for next year. Somewhat. Like I said, you got some JV players that aren't dressed and aren't playing in this game, but that are going to contribute. But for the most part, it gives the incoming seniors for next year, it gives you a little look at what they're going to bring to the table.
Right. And every minute is valuable for every basketball player on this team. All right. We're at halftime. We'll take a break. Jasper up 32-11 against the Pike Central Chargers here on 18 WJTS. All right, we're at halftime here, getting set for the second half. The Wildcats with a 32-11 lead over the Pike Central Chargers. Take a look real quickly at the scoring. First, Quentin Harmon scored double figures, scoring 10 out of that 32 points with 10 points. Berger with 5, 4 points for Cabrick, 6 points for Isaac Day, and 2 points for Tanner Ernie, 3 points for Reese Day, and 2 points for Jace Goodhue. Pike Central was led by Ethan Scott. Their leading scorer had 6 points and a bucket for Jalen Mills and a 3-pointer hit by Ethan Gorby, number 11. So we'll see who the Wildcats come out with their starting lineup, if they stick with the same unit, and it looks like they are. So the seniors will start this basketball game to start the second half. And Pike Central looks like they're coming out with pretty well their same unit. So you'll see Ethan Scott, Sean Hanselman, number 13. 14 is Mills. Caldwell, 32. and their big man Colin Craig, number 40. So side out here, and really just kind of one of those situations you want to continue to keep the game going and stay under control. You don't want to make too many mistakes. You want to definitely, come out without any injuries or anything like that. But, to stay fresh here for a little bit of this quarter, and I'm sure they'll probably sit for the rest of the ball game.
Yeah, I would say. I think, playing the way the coach got them in here, basically playing half the quarters and then letting the other guys come in and play the other half. Good way to do it, in a game like this. They're
So Staum misses the 3, followed by Hope doesn't go, but Harmon puts it up and in. All right, so 34-11. Jasper was against his own defense that time, and they're actually setting up in a man-to-man against Pike here and setting up the trap there, and good job to get the steal there by Hope. Feeds it over to Kabrick for a layup. Doesn't drop, but Staum gets the board, puts it back up, and he draws the contact and a shoot too.
You'd like to see them be able to finish that, on the break, get that first layup and hit it, and get back on defense. We did a good job of getting down the floor and rebounding, the missed shot, but sometimes that doesn't always happen, and it's always nice to be able to hit that first shot, because now you get to this situation here where you miss the free throws and you could end up with no points out of it. So,
all right, so Carter 1 for 2 there. 35-11, Jasper up by 24. Craig drives in an open lane, then feeds it back out. Huntsman gets it down in the corner. A reverse layup up and in, looking nice there by Jalen Mills.
Yeah, that's a nice move. He goes in there at 5'9" against Harmon and was able to get the ball up, score.
So Kabrick in the corner there, cross court over to Staum, who's open. Now a little bit of trouble there, feeds it back out to Harmon. Harmon with a nice solid move there, but can't get it to drop. Staum a battle for the rebound and throws it off a Pike Central player, so it should be Wildcat basketball. Unless they're saying Staum maybe.
I don't know. I couldn't
tell. On
the
sideline there before.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he got a foot down before he threw it or what, but I don't think you were going to get any arguments out of anybody on it. It's good hustle,
22-point lead for the Wildcats, 35-13, 6:07 on the clock here. Scott trying to give up the basketball there, and now gets his dribble back as the Wildcats defended there. Now Harmon comes up with the steal. Carter will go up with a shot, and they're going to call for an offensive foul.
Yeah, you could see that coming, that they were going to call out a charge.
All right, so second foul called on Staum.
Probably should have looked to give it back up. He got it. Harmon was running with him. Instead of trying to go into that guy, he should have made a little bounce pass to Harmon and let Harmon lay it in.
Hope goes for the steal there. Can't come up with it. The feed down low, but I think, they actually said Pike Central basketball. Thought maybe Carter got a piece of that. I think Carter's still a little shaken up on that.
Yeah, I don't know where he got
called over there.
what he did, but.
All right, so Kabrick's going to bring it across. Cats facing a 1-2-2 zone.
There's what you got to do against that. Get the ball inside, square up to the bucket. The difference was Harmon squared up, whereas earlier Wallace was catching that, and he couldn't see the opposite because he had his back to him. So Harmon did a good job there of catching, squaring to the bucket, and then seeing the backside guy wide open. There's good help defense by Hof.
Right.
I don't know what they call travel.
I believe so. All right, so 35-13, couple substitutions for the Pike Central Chargers coming in as Howald number 30. Cabrick with a baseline jumper and drops it. So 6 points for Jackson Cabrick.
It's good ball movement. You know, they had the ball outside, went inside, back outside, and got a good shot out of it.
Drive to the basket there and a kick out to Scott, and he drops the three-point shot. So 9 points for him.
He can shoot.
He can.
You know, I mean, he's not scared to. He's not scared to put it up.
All right, so the ball gets knocked out of bounds there, and it'll go Pike Central way. But yeah, I tell you what, I'm really impressed with Ethan Scott. I think he's a nice little ball player that, you know, unfortunately just doesn't have much to go with him this year.
Does.
He's a senior too, so
yeah,
it's kind of his final campaign, obviously. But
you know, and you got kids like that are, you know, seniors on a team like this. You know, you got to give them a lot of credit to come out here and bust it and play hard. You know, in games that, you know, they know coming in that, you know, they're going to struggle to stay in the game. But, you know, to come out here and to play hard, you got to give them credit for that.
Oh, no question about it. That was Howald hitting that shot, so the freshman with a nice jumper.
There's real nice ball movement. You know, we got the ball to the wing got it inside, the inside made another nice bounce pass to Harmon down low for an easy bucket.
So Harmon's got a couple buckets here in this third quarter, along with Cabrick, and then a free throw hit by Stom for the Wildcats. 7 points. There's a jumper by Scott that doesn't go. Good job by Hope to get the shot up and in.
You know, that right there is remnants of the way Elliot Hope has played since we were in 5th grade. You know, he would get a rebound like that, and he'd just go coast to coast, and they couldn't stop him. You know, but he got up to the varsity level, and then he kind of struggled with that because he was playing against guys who were quicker and stronger and could keep up.
All right, so the Wildcats with a 41-18 lead with 2:46 to go here in the third here on 18 WJTS. All right, so Ethan Scott's going to inbound here, Jasper, with a 41-18 lead against the Pike Central Chargers, leaving their starters out here. Actually, the Wildcats are. Pike Central, for the most part, has a lot of their starters on the floor as well, including Ethan Scott. He's got 9 of their 18 points. Scott comes off, misses that shot.
Somebody needs to grab it.
Yeah, I know, and I think it's going to be.
You know, I like to see that. You know, there's Scott on the floor. You know, he's their leading scorer. He's their everything. But, you know, he's busting it. They're down, you know, whatever point-wise. But, you know, he's out there leaving it all out on the floor. And you got to respect the kid for that.
No question. No question about it. That's a Gorby. A tough time against Hope, and Hope comes up with the steal. Is going to try to beat both guys down the court. Can't get the shot, but a good follow by Harmon. So Harmon continues on with 16 points now. Jasper starting to open it up a little bit more. 43-18. 2 minutes to go here in the third. Kick out to Gorby as he drives there, and I think Hope might pick up his personal foul. So 2 fouls on the Wildcats, 2 fouls on Hope for the ball game. Berger looking to check in to get with his regular rotation. So Ethan Gorby at the foul line. He hit a 3-pointer in the first quarter, and now add another point for 4 points. And actually Cabrick's going to sit, so Berger's out there with Stom, Harmon, Hope, and Reese Day. Gorby misses the second. 43-19 as Day's got the basketball. Double team, feeds it out to Stom. Inside out between Harmon and Day. Now he's got it up top. Finds Berger in the corner. He'll dribble out. Scott picks him up there as he gets over to the other side to Staum. Staum gets it down low and actually going to call a foul there. I think Gorby thought he was clean on that.
Nice look. I think it was Berger on the opposite side there. Seen Carter step in, you know, from the opposite wing. We were able to see him and get him the ball.
So Gorby actually with now 4 fouls. Staum misses the second there, so minute 20 to go, 44-19. Scott comes off, pulls up the jumper, misses there.
That was pretty good defense. That was a tough shot. You know, they did a good job of getting through the screen, got a hand in his face, made it a tough shot. And their offense, you know, it's not hard to watch. You know, everything's geared around him. You know,
right.
They run a lot of plays, a lot of sets for him to get open.
Well, Harmon shows some muscle there against Craig and puts another bucket in, so he's having an outstanding quarter with 8 points in the quarter, 18 in this basketball game with 33 seconds to go.
And that's kind of like we talked before the game, Craig. You know, we said that Harmon ought to have a good game. I mean, he goes off at 6'6", and their biggest player is 6'3".
Right.
You know, so you ought to be able to go inside and dominate in there. And he's done a very good job of it tonight.
All right, so Scott works against Staum here with 10 seconds to go. Jasper up 46-19. Gorby trying to make a move there and then just kind of slops it up there. Harmon comes out of the rebound, careful there. And they're going to call Harmon for the travel. So, all right, so a quick substitution here is number 23. Jaden Guth comes back in the ball game for only 0.4 seconds, though. So Pike will just have to try a lob or something just to get a tap up there. Not enough time, and they actually do it to Ethan, but a good job by Harmon. But I think they're going to call a foul here, or maybe not.
Yeah, the one official looks like he is.
All right, so Harmon picks up the foul right there at the end, and they're going to call it a shooting foul as well. So Ethan Scott's going to step up to the line. Pike Central's only shot 2 free throws tonight, 1 of 2. That was by Ethan Gorby earlier, and I guess it's not a shooting foul unless we're coming back in the fourth quarter. We'll take a break. 46-19, Jasper over the Chargers here on 18 WJTS. All right, so that foul on Harmon was obviously before the shot, so no foul shots being taken. 46-19, Pike Central will have the basketball. Cats with a big lead as they're 5 in. Takes the starters 5 out, so Scott being guarded by Ernie there. Berger on Gorby. Now Scott can't get that shot to go, but Gorby gets the rebound and puts it back up and in.
I don't know if he just pushed Berger out of the way or Berger fell down.
I don't know.
He ended up on the ground. He ended up with an easy 2 points. So.
All right, so 46-21 now. 25-point lead for the Wildcats. Berger coming across the lane there. A nice feed, though, down into.
That was a nice pass. That's a good decision by Jace. He didn't want to force it. He didn't have the shot, so he just backed it back out.
There's a better shot, so that's good offense by this second unit.
Nice cut. Nice ability to find him and see him, get him the ball. Ernie scored.
4 points for Ernie, 48-21. Hansman dribbles out. Substitution, Alex Clark into the ball game for the first time tonight. Clark, a sophomore. Good job by Jason, knock that ball out of bounds. So we played about a minute and a half of this fourth quarter. Jasper just looking to close things out. 48-21, they lead.
Games like this, you know, you obviously you just need to get through them injury-free. You know, work on a few things, give some guys some, you know, chance to get out there on the floor and play, you know, in the varsity game, which could be crucial down the stretch. You know, you never know when it comes sectional time when you might have to call one of them's number to go out there and play a couple minutes.
Berger not able to hit that shot. Another possession. It was Alex Clark, the sophomore, hitting a three-pointer, so it's 48-24. Pike's got the ball again. Scott's still out there looking for a shot, doesn't go. Goodhue squares, makes another spin move. Can't find it there, so feeds it back out. Good defense there by Guth.
It was, and you know, the thing I like about that play right there, Craig, was Jace didn't force it. You know, I mean, he made his move. The defense didn't fall for it, and instead of forcing up a bad shot like we've done quite a few times this year, you know, he didn't force it. He just turned around, threw it back out, and let it, you know, let it run through and get a chance for another one.
Well, and that's the thing, too. It's like, you know, when you're on the floor, especially in a situation like this, you don't really see anybody jacking it up. I mean, they're running their offense. They're getting good looks. So if William Schmidt gets a chance like that, you go for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just a matter of good decisions, isn't it?
And that's exactly right. You know, you don't need to be out there jacking up threes and doing all that stuff. And you know, from an opposing coach's standpoint, you know, you got to respect teams that'll do that to you. You know, that they know that, you know, you got to be out there doing some things to look to score, but not forcing things.
Right.
I mean, could you have won this game by 50 points? Yeah. But what would that done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You're exactly right.
You know, so.
You know, the thing is, I think Jasper's playing a really clean basketball game considering the situation.
Oh, I do too. I think you're 100% right. They're doing the things that, you know, they felt like they needed to work on or wanted to work on, and have done a very good job of it.
All right, so Craig picks up that foul, so the Wildcats will inbound over here. There's a couple more Pike Central Chargers getting on the basketball floor, and Gabe Caldwell coming back in. And so we'll take another break here. 4:40 on the clock. Jasper up 50-24 here at Pike Central on 18 WJTS. So Isaac Heim, Tanner Ernie, William Schmidt, Andrew Wallace, and Isaac Day on the floor for the Wildcats. Schmidt with a nice cut there, and that gives it up. Beautiful feed over there to Ernie for a jump shot. So Schmidt's got a bucket and an assist now.
You know, and the group you've got in there now probably have the least amount of minutes, you know, for the year. You know, Berger's not in there, Goodhue's not in there, and those guys have played, you know, quite a few minutes.
Right.
You know, Day would probably fall into that group too, but, you know, he's got to start tonight and play some pretty good minutes. So
Day with a nice move, and Schmidt gets a shot blocked, though. Coming down with it is Ernie, and he puts it up back up and in. So Ernie having a little bit of a run here. 6 points for him.
And it's good to see. I mean, anytime these guys can go in there and have, you know, a little bit of success at the varsity level is a positive. Looks like our big faithful student section's seen enough. Looks like they're heading home. Back to Du Bois County.
Right. Ernie with another bucket. 10 points overall, 8 in this quarter.
You know, and that's good aggressiveness there. You know, we're down there battling on the offensive board and trying to scrap and get the rebound and be able to score.
Guth, number 23, with it. Caldwell, who actually got the start tonight, has to feed it over to Mills and just goes out of bounds. So 56-24, Jasper up by 32. Another substitution for the Chargers coming back in as Hanselman. 2:47 on the clock as Wallace inbounds today. Schmidt with a nice feed over to Day, and he's able to gather himself and put that shot up and in. I'm still going to give him an assist on that play.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if he dribbles.
I don't. Well, you know, and that's a
judgment call.
That is.
Well.
It is. I mean, you watch the NBA games and some of those assists they give to those guys, it's like, really?
Yeah. Russell Westbrook.
Well,
triple double all the time.
Yeah, the guys that always have the big assist numbers, you know, you watch those, and those are the ones that they always pad their stats, basically. I mean, it's like, you know, Isaiah Thomas, I remember, you know, obviously when he played at IU and then in the NBA, you know, I mean, to me, he was a true point guard that, you know, he earned a lot of his assists.
Sure.
But nowadays, the guy can catch a ball, dribble it 3 or 4 times, and shoot it and miss it and get his own rebound and put it back in, and they still give him assist, I think.
Well, the other thing, I remember John Stockton, I'd say 80% of his assists maybe came on that pick and roll play that he had with the mailman.
Karl Malone, yeah.
All right, so Pike Central goes to their bench. Point out some of the players as they make some plays out here. Kendrick Sorgis is out there, number 5. Good job by Wallace, but can't get that shot to drop.
Yeah, I think Pike got all their seniors out right there, that last substitution.
So winding down with about a minute and a half to go in this basketball game. Jasper up by 32, 58-26. Shot a little bit short there by Howald. Heim at the elbow. Minute 18 to go. Nice feed inside to Heim, and
he did a good job of recovering that.
Right.
You know, he didn't handle it clean, but went and got it up off the board to score.
So Isaac gets on the board, but another assist for Schmidt. I've got him with a bucket and 3 assists in this ball game.
I think that's good. You know, I mean, Schmidt's been there to practice every day, working his butt off, you know, helping make these other guys better ball players. And, you know, now he's getting to reap some of the rewards that kind of go with it. So.
Right. Cats down to 35 seconds, 60-26. Schmidt, strong drive and a beautiful feed. Another assist for William Schmidt.
Oh, and then
I'll tell you what, he's having a heck of a ball game in this 4th quarter.
He might get the slick play of the game. That'd be my nomination.
Just call it the Golden Pass Award or whatever you want to call it. He's doing an outstanding job. 4 assists in this ball game. All right,
at the
so
buzzer.
That's going to be the buzzer,
Good.
And they count it. So
that could cost somebody in the forecasters club right there.
It might do it. Might do it. So 29 for Pike Central, but the Wildcats put 62 on the board tonight to win this basketball game. And you know, like we said before, I just feel like a pretty clean ball game. Nobody got hurt. Wasn't, you know, we didn't really overly run up the score, but we saw some good play both from the first unit and the second unit tonight.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. You know, I think overall, you know, it was kind of what you expected and what you thought, you know, you might run into when you come down here to play this game. But like you said, it was well played. I mean, it was, you know, again, you know, sometimes you have to look at, you know, the competition you're playing leads to a lot of things. But you know, overall, we didn't look sloppy. You know, I mean, we came out and we did the things that we needed to do to try to become a better basketball team. You know, and then Coach Gable and the coaching staff did a good job of moving guys in and out and you know, getting some playing time for some kids that, like we said, you know, like William Schmidt and Andrew Wallace and some of those guys that have, you know, been there to practice every day and worked their tails off, and they didn't get a lot of rewards from it, you know. So I think they it was a good game for those guys too to get that opportunity. So, this is one that you just you mark it off the schedule. You've got one regular season game left. Go up to North Davies next Thursday night, I believe, and I don't know what their record is. I don't think it's too bad. I saw somewhere where I forget who it was, they played, a pretty good opponent to a close game. Yeah. So, I'm sure going up there it's going to be, a little bit tougher. I'm sure it's probably going to be senior night for them up there. Right. So, anytime you go into an opponent's gym and you compete against them on a senior night or things like that, there's always a little more emotions because, it's a big deal for those seniors to be out there playing their last game on their home floor.
Oh, yeah.
And, a break here or there, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And so we got to go up there ready to play, and obviously with the sectional draw coming up Sunday, I believe it's at 3 o'clock our time.
Right.
That's the draw every year is a big deal, but I think this year with that sectional at Evansville, it's really big.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think right now, outside of Central, and Central can beat anybody in that sectional.
Sure.
But outside of Central, I would say, they're probably the lower part of those teams that are in it.
Yeah.
But rest of them, anybody can beat anybody.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Coming into the year, I thought Wrights would be dominant. Hands down, bar none, dominant, the team to beat. And I'm not so sure about that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not a good ball club.
Right.
But I think some of the other teams that are in it are not that far away from them.
Right.
I saw an interesting thing, and I don't know if you saw it in the Evansville Courier, where they kind of played around with things and they seeded the top 15 teams in 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A.
Okay.
And they basically just took all these teams and threw them in there.
Right.
And they had 4A, they had Jasper seeded like 7th, but 3 out of the top 4 teams were from the Jeffersonville. Jeffersonville was 1.
Yeah.
New Albany was 2.
Okay.
And I think Bedford was 3.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Wrights was 4.
Okay.
So they didn't just take the one sectional. They took like the whole Southern Indiana part and did that.
Yeah.
And it was really a kind of an interesting thing to look at and see. Yeah. They did it for every class.
Yeah. If you actually seeded the tournament, this is what you would kind of expect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. All right, well, Jason, you're heading to Florida, right?
I am, 4:30 in the morning. I'll be heading to Louisville to get on an airplane.
All right, Clearwater, right?
Yep.
Well, you deserve it, and you enjoy it. You and Amy have a great time down there, and
we will.
I guess you're just leaving the nest to Carter, huh?
Yeah. We've got a few birds going to come in and watch him a little bit so that he doesn't get too far out of control. But it's time that he's going to be in college next year, so
I know.
They got to. You know how it is.
We did it with Drew when we went to Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, Drew, we know you're no longer in high school because he finished in December,
right?
But you're still only 17 years old.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So.
All right. Well, you enjoy, bud.
All right, we will.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break here. We'll be back to talk to Caleb Bagley. It looks like here on 18 WJTS. All right, we're back once again, one final time here at Pike Central. The Wildcats with a pretty well controlling basketball game, 62-29, and we got Caleb Bagley to talk about it. And Caleb, one thing I want to talk about is just really the second unit getting quality minutes tonight. What's that mean to these kids?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought they did a really good job too. That's a group they really haven't played a whole lot with, other than a little bit in practice. But to have all 5 of them out there on the floor at the same time was a little bit different, and they handled it really well. I thought they ran some pretty good offense in the first half against their zone, and they did a good job. There was really no let off when they came in the game.
And that's the thing. Isaac Day with 2 3-pointers, and also Caleb Berger there, and against that zone, you're looking for those types of shots, and those are the shot opportunities. And I thought they did a great job of executing there. Yeah,
absolutely. They did a good job of getting the ball in the paint. They used the short corner really well, and then those guys were ready to shoot. Isaac, when he's stepping in, he's as good a shooter as we have on our team. So he's playing with a lot of confidence, which is really helping us.
Yeah, and the other player I thought did a great job in that fourth quarter. William Schmidt got a bucket, and he had 4 nice assists. And, Tanner Ernie and Isaac Day and a few others got a few extra points thanks to that.
Yeah, Schmidt is a guy who he doesn't get to play a lot. I haven't been around a ton this year at practice, but since our freshman season's been over, been around, and he doesn't let that affect him. He comes in with the same attitude, and he's a good teammate. Those are the kind of guys you get excited for, and our guys were excited that he got in there and was able to contribute, but he wasn't afraid to go in there. He wasn't, he played confident. He was going to do what he did, and he did a good job.
No doubt. And I tell you also, with your first unit, in a basketball game like tonight, I mean, obviously Pike with just 1-16 record and just averaging 33 points a game. What really is your message to your starting unit as you come into a game like this?
Yeah, I think you have to approach it just like any other game. If you look at this game and you think you're just going to walk out on the floor and beat them, you find yourself, you may end up winning, but that's not really, that's obviously the end goal. But the point is to go out there and approach it like you would if you're playing 2 weeks from now in the sectional. You can control your approach no matter who you're playing. So that was kind of the approach we had, was just go out, be ready to play, set the tone early, and they did a pretty good job of that.
And Coach Gobert over there taking notes is here. He is, no doubt. All right. So, I mean, you happy with the ball game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did what we were supposed to do. I mean, you don't want to take, it's a difficult game to approach because you don't know how your guys are going to respond to it. They know the record. They know what kind of team Pike Central's, or what kind of year they're having. So you don't know how. I mean, they had senior night going on. They had a lot of stuff going on. So, you have to approach it the right way. And when you don't do that, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
All right. And, again, the Wildcats just one game left to go. Game out on the road at North Davies and all that. Sectional opponent, we'll find that out on Sunday.
Right.
So how do you approach this upcoming week?
Well, we're going to take the weekend off, and then I think, Thursday's an important one. It's going to be difficult to go to North Davies. It's going to be good to go on the road. They've got a good team. They play, their style of basketball. They don't really go away from that, and you have to approach it. This week is obviously we're going to prepare to play Thursday night, but we're going to know our opponent. So, Coach Gable, Coach Albrand, they'll probably have their sights set on North Davies. I'll probably be put in front of scout film and for the sectional opponent, and getting scout teams prepared for, after Thursday, starting Friday. So that's kind of the way. It's nice having the people we have on our staff, that we have some people that can do different things. And enough people that we can kind of put assignments on different people. So that's kind of probably the way we'll approach it. That's the way we've done it in the past. But, we're not going to overlook Thursday. Thursday is the next thing in front of us. We got to approach it the right way, and then set our sights on sectional either Tuesday or perhaps Friday. So.
Right. Yes, we'll know by Friday
or
by Monday.
Yeah.
All right. And freshman team this year, how'd everything go?
Yeah, we finished with a record of 20-1. So
wow.
They did a really good job. They had our goal was not to win. We wanted to win, but I told them everybody wants to win. The goal was to get better, and I thought they did that pretty well every day. They came with a good approach, and from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I told them that I'm with them every day, so I don't really see the huge changes or if there are any huge changes, but talking to people, they could see that our guys got better. So they did a really good job. They earned their record, but there's a whole lot more work to be done. Nobody remembers freshman basketball records. That's kind of my message to them. So hopefully we can continue to grow and see those guys producing on Friday and Saturday nights.
I'm sure between yourself, your mom, and your dad, you guys will keep track of your record, though, right?
Well, they probably do a little bit more than me. Like I said, I told our guys there was a lot of times I didn't know what our record was because that just wasn't the main objective.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, congratulations. Team's going well varsity-wise, and congratulations on your freshman season as well.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so Caleb Bagley letting us know how the Wildcats played tonight and getting all set for the finale coming up against North Davies, and then, of course, as we move into tournament play after next week. So Jasper wins 62-29, and they were led by Quentin Harmon's 18 points. But off the bench, Isaac Day with 10 points, Tanner Ernie with 10 points, and then also William Schmidt, 4 assists in that fourth quarter to go along with a bucket. So he had a nice game as well. And Pike Central were led by their leading scorer, Ethan Scott, with 9. So Jasper, 62, Pike Central, 29. So for Jason Stamm and Jeremy Marcos on the video, my name is Craig Schneider. This is Wildcat Basketball here on 18 WJTS. Good night.